fellow blenderers, this is Peter here with PM Designs. This is a video for beginners really, just to talk about the 3D cursor and how you can use it, and you should make it your friend because it really wants to help you. This is the 3D cursor. It's really useful, it's so helpful. A lot of people, even advanced people, don't really know how to use it that well, but it can help you with your rotation, with your transformation points. And so I'm just going to show you a few ideas that will help you. So let's say you want to animate a door opening. This door, you don't really want to rig it. Yeah, rigging is long. You just want to have a door that opens. So let's say, for example, right now I'm sizing it on the Z-axis. It's not working how I want it to work. I just want it to grow straight up. So I need to make sure my transform pivot point is set to the 3D cursor. So now it will go straight up. Yeah, I can also do this with the full stop period button on the keyboard. So that for beginners, you really should get into the habit of switching between what you're using the 3D cursor, individual origins, active element. Maybe if I have time, I'll talk about what these others mean. But these two are really important. The individual origins, just so you know, is this orange dot right here. So anyway, I'm going to go to 3D cursor. I'm going to make this into something like a door, and I want this door to be able to open and close, maybe just in one direction, let's say. So can I rotate it like that? No, that's a revolving door. Can I rotate it on its individual origins, which will be this one at the moment? No. Okay, so I need to set this as a pivot point. I could move it like that. Yeah, but maybe your door is not here. Maybe your door is somewhere else far away from the world origin. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to choose one of these vertices down here just by clicking that, and I'm going to press hold shift and press S, and I get this little pie menu comes up, which allows me to choose where the 3D cursor is going to be. So I'm going to choose the cursor to selected. So now the 3D cursor pops down to there. So now if I use the 3D cursor as my rotation point, I've got an opening and closing door. You could, just for example, you could set it to be in the middle of the door if you wanted to, but that's not how doors work. Yeah, doors don't go like that. So I'm just gonna, you can't, when you move the 3D cursor, you can't undo, so you have to go back and do it manually. Cursor to selected. So now I've got an opening and closing door which I can animate just by the keyframes. But if I now move the 3D cursor, it's not going to work. So right click on that door, set origin to 3D cursor. So now that little orange dot is down there. I can move the 3D cursor back to the world origin. Click on the door again. Let's do individual origins. That's the transform pivot point. So now it still rotates on that door, on that point. So just don't apply any transformations, and your geometry's origin point will stay where you put the 3D cursor originally. Yeah, that's one suggestion for it. This is slightly more advanced, but maybe you guys are getting into it now. So let's just say you've got this basic guy here, and you're going to add a meta rig. Well, that's rather big. Let's size that down kind of to match. So let's say I'm going to rig this guy, this really basic character. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'm just going to talk about how we can set the bones of the eyes. So let me come down here, make sure I can see this. Right. Oh, I'm not going to go through all this, but I'm going to just do his eyes. So I'm going to go into edit mode on this just quickly. I just want his eyes and the rest. Those bones. So I just want to show you what you can do with the eyes. I could have just hidden those bones. I want these eye bones to be in the right place on my eyes. Yeah, obviously. So they're two objects. So even if I have the origin of the geometry here and I choose cursor to selected, it's going to go in the middle. I don't really want that. So I need to go into edit mode. Press L to choose this whole eye. Shift S, cursor to selected. So now the 3D cursor is dead in the center of that eyeball. As long as your eyeball is a ball, it's fine. So now if I go to this armature, go to edit mode, make sure I've got symmetry on, click this little knob at the back, Shift S, selection to cursor. So now that part of the bone is right in the middle. Click back on the eye, vertex select, click on this front vertex, cursor to selected, go to rig, edit mode, click this little knob, whatever it's called, selection to cursor. So now if I quickly just parent this, so now in pose mode, using individual origins, I can, you can't, let me get the color on this, I can rotate the eye perfectly and it won't deform, it won't pop out of the eye socket. It's still staying in that perfect sphere. So that's another great use for the 3D cursor, getting bones to line up perfectly. If you're working with the human meta rig, and if you want to use Rigify, maybe this is not ready for beginners, this part, but we go to the latest update face rig thing, and so we're going to update the face rig. It gives you all these extra bones, which are like glue bones. They help help connect parts together, help them follow each other. So when you come to edit this and you want to make it fit your mesh, you may encounter some issues. So if I click on this guy and move this down here, and now when I go back to object mode and I try to rigify, generate rig, there's going to be an error because of this bone. Yeah, it's not quite. It says bone cheek glue, which is this one. Yeah. Go into edit mode, click this little guy, Shift S, cursor to selected, and this is the problem that it was. You can see it here, lid glue bone. So if I click this one, Shift S, selection to cut. Whoops. I don't want this one. Let's hide. Well, actually I do. That's not connected either, so I need to select all of that part. Selection to cursor. So now if I go to Rigify, no problem. Okay, if you're using Rigify and you're having problems with this, it says the glue bone is not right, that's what it is. You need to go and make sure that's perfectly lined up. I've seen, let's not say professionals, but I've seen experienced people saying, oh, you know, click this one and press G, Z, trying to, or even worse, using this thing, bring it up here, and then we're going to rotate around here and bring that over there and try and line that up. But yeah, no, just use the 3D cursor. Okay, click that one, cursor to selected, click that one, selection to cursor. That's not right, but just for example. Okay, so let's say you've got like two parts of a room or like a floor that you want to line up or something like that. And yeah, you know, you could go to snapping up here, and then set it to vertex. And let's try and snap that together. No, that doesn't work. Okay, let's try face. Try and snap that together. No, okay, that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, so this is part A of my room. I want to keep it there. This is part B of my room. I want to attach it. And we could try and eyeball it and go, yeah. Do it in edit mode or object mode. Both okay. That looks about right. Cool. Yeah. And you go in and you find out it's not, and you try it even more. Let's do it with the 3D cursor. So first I'm going to select all of this edge, Shift S, cursor to selected, go to object mode, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Now again, go over here, edit mode, select all this, cursor to selected, and now I can say selection to cursor, because it will put this whole object, the origin of this object, in the spot of the 3D cursor. Like that. Okay, so now these are perfectly 100% next to each other. If I bring them both into edit mode, and let's see if I can find a gap. Yeah, there is no gap there. You can see it's 100% connected. And so if you wanted to line up a floor, you're doing an extension on a building, and you don't really want to change the shape of it, you want to keep it as the original object, that's how you do it. Put the 3D cursor wherever you need it, so you can do it. You could do it like this with face select, or you could do it vertex select, or you could put it in the middle of an edge select, cursor to selected. So another thing we can do with this is we can control how we rotate things. So let's say, for example, for whatever reason, I want to have precise control over how these rotate. I want them both to follow a certain position. I want to set the 3D cursor down here for some reason. It doesn't, you know, this video is just to give you some ideas about how you can use a 3D cursor. So now I can select both of these, make sure I'm on 3D cursor, because if I were on, let's say I'm on individual origins, and I rotate by the Y, they're going to go, you see this one's individual origin is here, this one is there, not going to work. But a 3D cursor, if I place it where I want it to be, I now have more control over it. If I do R and Z, okay, yeah, R and Y, it's all like that. I could switch that around and do something like this. If this is what I was talking about with active element before. This bright orange one is the active element. So now if I rotate by Y, it's going to, everything will rotate on this pivot point. Yeah, so it's quite important to learn how to use the different pivot points as well as the different transform orientations. Global and local. Global and local are the most important ones, global being what you can see in the world axis, and the local ones being here. If I just, let's rotate this guy, so rotate it by 90. And the local ones being by each object. So at the moment this one's Z is up, this one's Y is that way. So if I have set it on global, well actually I'm going to set it on local first. So if I rotate by Y, it shows me that the Y is this way. If I press R, Y, Y, I then rotate by the world axis. And the same works if you have global. You do R, Y, it does by the global. R, Y, Y, does by the local. If I apply the transformations of this, then that becomes the same as the world. Okay, 3D cursor, your best buddy. It will really help you if you become stuck about a way to move something or about a way to resize something. So let's say, for example, even now I want to size this in a particular way. Do it by the 3D cursor, and it will shrink down towards where the 3D cursor is. Okay, just bear in mind, the 3D cursor can really help you. Okay, if you found that useful, if you learned anything, please drop a like. Thanks very much.